Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Manigan's Movie Music with, of course, who else but me, Reese Manigan. And I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you've had a really good week. And finally, again, the sunshine is out today. Do you know what? I've been very lucky the past couple of weeks to have sunshine on my radio show days. It's like now, I mean, I don't really believe in heaven, but the heavens are literally smiling upon me. So thank you so much, blue skies. So let's hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather. I think it's going to be 21 degrees today. So if you're out enjoying the sunshine, enjoy it, because unfortunately, I think it's going to rain tomorrow, guys. It's very sad, I know. But, you know, hopefully better weather will come. And hopefully this isn't our only summer as it comes about. Anyway, I hope you guys have had a good week so far. I hope everything's all good. If you haven't, I'm glad you tuned into Manigan's Movie Music. So I hope you lift up your little weekend spirits. So today is going to be another special show. I've got another special guest with me who I'll be introducing later on. But first, as I always introduce the show, it's always good to play a very fun track before we start the show. So here's a very fun little ditty. This is from Madagascar 3, Cannonball. Do you know what? I'm really going to have to sort that loud button. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, you're listening to Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio with me, Reese Manigan. That was Madagascar 3, Cannonball, to start off Friday, Manigan's Movie Music on a Friday. I'm twisting my words there. I do apologise. I've had a crazy week this week. Very busy, but sort of productive. I'll talk about that later on in the show. So on today's show, guys, just to let you know, there will be another movie review. I'm reviewing Hurry Up Tomorrow, which I can't wait to talk about because this one is definitely going to be splitting a few hairs. There's definitely going to be a Marmite reaction. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, if that makes sense. Because there's some things I really want to talk about, including about that film. And I saw that last weekend. And to be honest, it's been a very interesting turn about that show, like that film. Like, it's really, really interesting. So I can't wait to talk about that later on in the show. But that is my movie review for today, because I really want to see if there's some sort of debate going on. If, of course, you guys are tuning in and you have seen that film, then let's see what the reaction is going to be. Anyway, so it's now time to introduce my guest today. She is a model, and she hasn't done much acting, but maybe she'll be debuting her acting with my project because she's been very supportive over my work, and she's here today to promote what she's doing today. So please welcome Alba.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
So fantastic. Wonderful. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, I'm very happy to have you here. Very appreciate you spending your time to come here, because I know you have a very hectic, busy schedule.
Yeah.
So it's very honoured. I'm very honoured that you're here to take your time to be on this tiny little show that I don't think many people listen to, but you never know. But hopefully your friends and family are tuning in this morning.
Yeah, 100%.
So hopefully they'll give a shout out or they'll say hello, whatever. But thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. Well, I'm Alba. I am a model. I started modeling like 3 years ago, and my journey since I was a little girl is been all about self-development, self-improvement, challenging myself and going beyond my limits, and always achieving what was meaningful for me in my soul.
Okay. So what made you start that journey in the first place? That made you say, oh, that's what I want to do, or that's what I'm going to go for?
Well, I am also a nurse, and I worked as a nurse for 10 years. But throughout my career, there was something creatively missing. I needed something more creative. And equally, being a person who have had an eating disorder, I wanted to show the world that actually all the bodies are beautiful, and we need representation of all types of bodies. And that was really the main thing that brought me into the creative industry and representing different bodies in the model industry.
That is truly inspiring, because I've said this before, that I believe that modeling isn't just about having a very skinny body or having abs, you know, like you see on Love Island and stuff like that. I mean, that's why I hate that show. Yeah. I hate it with a passion. But like, seriously, because it's just like, this is why I always said the only time I'd ever watch Love Island is if they had plus size people on the show.
Yeah.
And I'd say, do you know what? Brilliant. There'd be more diverse with people. Yeah. This is brilliant. But no, instead it's just Barbies and Kens. And that's why I hate it. And you know, it's fake anyway. I know it's fake because I actually knew someone who went on that show, and she told me everything about behind the scenes. So I know it's fake. But anyway, who cares? If you're a fan of Love Island, then don't listen to this show because I don't care. Seriously, I hate it. But what you just said, that's what I was saying the whole time. we need more plus size models. We need more diverse models, you know, whether it's male or female, and more confidence in that. And also like to say, look, this is who I am. Get over it. A body is this body. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Because when I hear documentaries as well of, oh, you know, I need to change my body because I felt unconfident, and then they look like a skeleton, or they think, oh, if I build up and have steroids and stuff like that, it's like, are you kidding me? And sometimes I'm like, you were fine actually the way you were, and then you've done that. And I understand that people do have severe mental health and they've been that, but I think the way they go about it is not really the right direction for them, because I feel like they think, oh yeah, if I do this, and then their personality changes, so they think, yeah, now I'm better, and their ego starts to kick in, and that's when it starts to get downhill, really. So really, they're going more downhill than going uphill. Does that make sense?
No, 100%, and I 100% agree with you. But the way each person handles their mental health or their eating disorders or their perception in the society is their own path as well, and they need to learn through it. However, I think I missed when I was a kid models that were my size and representation that was my size, that perhaps would let me think that actually is not nothing wrong to have my size.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to bring to these young girls and young boys. Like, we're beautiful, we are empowered, we are here for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, embrace that power, 100%. So as you said, you've done a lot of modelling yourself. So is there a particular favourite shoot that you've done that's gone, oh my God, this brings out me?
Yeah.
So is there one in particular that stands out for you?
For me, I would highlight 2 moments in my career. One of them was to make it for the London Fashion Week. That was huge. With my size, I'm a 5'5" model, and size 12. So that was very empowering.
Yeah.
But if I need to really highlight a specific one, I'm gonna highlight an editorial that I recently done. And was all about bringing the masculinity and femininity into the woman's world, and how we women, we do it all, and we are so powerful, and we still keep going in the society fighting for our rights. So it's gonna come out very soon, this project, so please check in my social media and support it, because it's very beautiful, and it's very much based on my personal life.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure the listeners will definitely want to support that 100%. So you guys do that, please. 100% do that. Is there like, so when you started out doing this, do you remember exactly your very first moment or very first shoot you done that made you say, right, okay, let's continue with this? Or did you start off on your own? Like, did you have people first, or did you start off on your own?
I started because one day one guy approached me in the gym and told me I actually could be a great model. And I said, okay, I never thought of it, the most random thing ever.
Sometimes that does tend to happen.
Yeah.
Random showing pops, so you could do good. Okay.
Yeah. And since then I started to do collaborations and things like that. But my very first paid runway was straight away into the London Fashion Week, because it was like a day before the show, they had a model that dropped off and they really needed a replacement, and they contacted me because they loved my profile, and I was like, I've never done it, but but I said to myself, I can do it. And I practiced the entire night, my walk.
Nice.
And the day after I performed, and I'm still in touch with the designer.
Amazing.
We are still good friends, and it was amazing. And since then I never stopped.
That's the thing you can't do. You cannot stop.
Yeah.
So it's like with me, because you've arrived at a very special. I say this to every guest. You've arrived at a very special time, because it's my 20th anniversary of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So you have arrived at a very special time on my occasion. So every guest that has joined this year, it's a huge honour to have them on here, to know that they're celebrating with me the 20th anniversary, as well as they're coming on talking about what they're doing and everything like that. Because, by the way, guys, this show is not just about actors and filmmakers in general. It's about people who are working in media, models, photographers, presenters, radio presenters, who are obviously all going to come out on the show in the next few weeks to talk about their stories. So your story is definitely one of the most inspiring, and definitely 100%, to know that you're trying to make a difference. And that's what this show is all about. So really, you have come on the right show.
Yeah, definitely. We are in the same path. We are celebrating you. We're celebrating us.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
That's what it's all about. So as you know, you are on the Manigan's Movie Music. You have joined the show today. So you have admitted, though, your film knowledge isn't 100% there.
No.
That's fine. That's fine. But
I'm here to learn.
She's here to learn. Yeah, because don't worry, because there's actually been a few actors. It's weird. There's actually been a few actors who I've met who said they don't really watch many movies either.
Right.
And then next thing you know, I'm showing them what films they could watch. Next thing you know, they've got a list. And the next thing you know, they've gone off and they've gone, oh, I've watched this because you told me about this one.
Yeah.
And so I've gone, there you go. There you go. I've opened the doors for you.
Yes.
But that's absolutely fine. You don't have to know many films. I'm not going to quiz you on movies or anything like that.
Good.
And stuff like that. It's not that sort of show where I just get a quiz card out and go, do you know what Humpty Dumpty sat on? And then you're like, the bricks? No. Anyway, but it's absolutely fine. But the idea of because the reason you came on the show is because when you said about what you would do about making the difference, that's why I had to bring you on this show, because that is exactly what I'm looking for. It's about people who are making the difference as well. And again, because loads of, it's like with me, I didn't have much confidence when it comes to the filmmaking process. Like, obviously, I mean, I'm surprised how many projects I've even done in the past 20 years. So the fact that you're on here saying I've done that, it's like, yeah, well, that's exactly what I did. I didn't listen to that, and I went off and done it, and now look how much I've done.
And here I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, guys. So, yes. Okay, right. Let's get on with the next track, guys. Okay, so the next one here is from a very good classic one from The Jungle Book from the 1994 film. This is the main title sequence. Stay tuned, guys, because coming up is the Hurry Up Tomorrow movie review. That is, of course, my most requested track as always, The Lion King. I don't think I've played that one before. That one is called Hunting and Reunion. I think that's the part where Nala stalks Pumbaa and then Simba and Nala reunite. That's the quite a really memorable scene. Anyway, you're listening to Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio with me, Reese Manigan, my special guest today.
Hello, Alban.
There you go. Right, so I need to talk about this movie now, Hurry Up Tomorrow. And I think you might be really intrigued with this one because this film has had a bit of, I wouldn't say controversy, but they've definitely sort of been slating this one. But I need to try and get it up because I can't remember the guy's name, because apparently he's a real life singer and I've never even heard of him. This shows how old I'm getting, I suppose. But I don't really care. I'm not really into the whole new music industry anyway, so screw me. That's why I'm doing movie music, so don't judge me, will ya? Anyway, right, so the film Hurry Up Tomorrow is from the director, what's his name? I see, this is what I mean, the names, I'm just... Right, so his name's Trey Edward Schultz. He's best known for directing a movie called It Comes at Night, which, by the way, I loved. I loved that movie. A lot of people didn't like that movie as well, but I actually really enjoyed that film. I still remember. I've only watched it once, but I still remember it. And I remember that had a bit of controversy, but all because of the trailer, because apparently the trailer wasn't exactly like the movie. The trailer deceived it. But what you got to understand, guys, a trailer is a pitch for a film that's meant to intrigue you. Yes, sometimes they do twist the story, they do twist the plot line, but it's meant to engage you, to get you thinking, oh, do you know what? I want to go and check out that film. And yeah, there are some trailers that do unfortunately spoil the movie and stuff like that. That's why sometimes I try to avoid certain trailers. But this one, the Hurry Up Tomorrow trailer, there was nothing in this trailer that spoiled it. I just looked at it and was like, okay, I'm in, because it looks really weird. Because that's the kind of film lover as I am. I really am starting to get into more weirder films and unique films. And if I see a trailer, I think, oh, do you know what? If that looks interesting, I'm going to go for it. So anyway, Hurry Up Tomorrow. In case you want to know if there's a plot, it says, plagued by insomnia, a musician gets pulled into a nightmarish odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel the very core of his existence, okay? So that's practically the log line of the film. Now, the movie stars the singer, let me see if I can get his name right, Abel Tesfaye, I think that's his name. If I pronounce it wrong, I apologise. But he's the singer for The Weeknd or The Weekend or something like that. I think they've kind of twisted his little band name or something like that. But he's a singer who this film got inspired by a true life event where he was singing and apparently he did lose his voice and he couldn't sing. And it was in front of a live concert and he did actually lose his voice. And that inspired the movie. Now, the movie also stars two very big names, Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan, which, of course, are amazing actors. And, of course, if you haven't seen Saltburn, you'll know who Barry Keoghan is. I mean, yeah, he's the guy who drinks out of bathtubs in the film. Yes, I mentioned that bit. And Jenna Ortega, as we know, was in Scream and Beetlejuice. So, I mean, who doesn't know Jenna Ortega? Plus, Wednesday Season 2's coming out, guys. Hello. Anyway, so this film, right, what can I say about this project? Right. So a lot of people don't like this movie, and a lot of people have given it positive reviews. And so on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment, it holds right. So yeah, the rating for audiences have gone down a bit. It used to be at 78, now it's 66%. That's still pretty high for audiences to like. Critics, on the other hand, hate this movie. 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? Now, I don't usually sometimes listen to Rotten Tomatoes because sometimes there has been moments where a film's been slated. I've seen the movie and the movie has actually turned out better than I thought. Or basically, there's a film that's been released that audiences and people don't like because it hasn't got a normal plot, normal story. But I like it because it's unique. Let me give you some examples. There's Beau is Afraid. People don't like that movie, but I absolutely love that movie. Skinamarink. People don't like that movie, but I love that film. In Eyes Men. Again, a very weird film, but it's unique because it's not a non-liner subplot film. It's an experimental horror film. And Hurry Up Tomorrow, I would say, is definitely an experimental film. But when they say there's no plot, there kind of is. I mean, I'm trying to make it spoiler free, but then there's nothing really I can say to say, oh, there's this big moment that's going to spoil the movie. The thing I would say about this film, it's about a man or a singer. Let me say, yeah, it's about a singer who is basically going through a very traumatic experience. And let's just say that there's a certain character. I'm not going to say if it's Barry or Jenna Ortega. You can leave that to your own expenses when you watch the film. Who basically are showing him why he is making that music, what the lyrics mean, what he's doing, what his existence is all about. Is he going through an experience, whatever? It's basically about a man who's going through a very traumatic moment. And so I can understand the negatives. I'm not saying this movie's a masterpiece. Don't get me wrong. There are flaws. And there are moments where I just think, what the hell's going on here? But I don't hate this film. I don't hate it. I actually found it really intriguing. That's what I'm saying. This movie did intrigue me. So you can say it's horrible. You can say it's confusing. You can say, oh, I don't get it. But the thing is, guys, this is what annoys me. Not every movie has to have a backstory, a reveal, oh, what does this mean? It doesn't have to have that. I mean, look, if you look at some of the classics in some projects, I'm going to give you a massive example, 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's loads of people that don't get that movie, right? But you're not supposed to get it. Yeah, you can try and theorize it and understand some bits, but you're not supposed to watch it and go, I got that, I know that. No, it's not about that. It's an experience. It's a thrilling. I mean, that's what it's all about. Films are not just about stories that you go in and it's about there's a beginning, a middle, and the end. Oh, the hero saves the woman from the dragon dies, blah, blah, blah. No. There are some films you go and see to have an experience. And that's why I love cinema, because it experiences. And film, guys, remember, it's art. Film is art. It's not meant to be there to say, oh, yeah, we have to make it audience pleasing all the time. There are movies out there that directors make, like even me, right? Like, I'm not saying I want to have an audience. I'm not saying I don't want the audience to watch my films and go, oh, this was crap because, whatever. What I'm saying is, there are directors out there that make films for them because if they have a vision, they'll say, right, look, this is how I make it. This is what my story is. This is how I'm laying it out. This is what I'm doing. I mean, God, Kubrick did that. David Lynch did that. Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan. He does it all the time and people love his movies. Interstellar and Batman and everything. There are so many things in those movies that cause so much experience and people love those movies. So this is what I'm saying. So film does have different ways of art. And I would say Hurry Up Tomorrow is a very experimental art that is beautiful, but maybe the colours are in the wrong place. So let's say, for example, it's like a Picasso, where you're looking at it, it looks good, but the pieces are all over the place. That's how I would describe Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's a Picasso that doesn't go in the right places. It's a jigsaw puzzle that looks gorgeous, but the pieces are in the wrong places. How about we say about that? Yes, I'm not saying the movie is fantastic. It's not the best movie I've seen this year. I'm not saying that at all. But it's definitely the most unique I think I've seen this year so far. That is what I'm going to say about Hurry Up Tomorrow. And I've got to say, guys, if you don't think Jenna Ortega's role in this is actually quite fun, then you're obviously not enjoying the movie as you should. Because Jenna Ortega does steal the show. I mean, she's fantastic. I mean, how does she not? But her role in this is very different from other roles she's done. She's not playing the teenage daughter. She's not playing the spoiled brat that she usually plays. She is playing a very different character. And I think you guys have to respect that as well. So that is my opinion on Hurry Up Tomorrow. So there you go.
Love it.
Oh. Yeah, I just had to get that off my chest because the thing is, right, there's a lot of people that have seen this movie and they've gone, I didn't get it, I hate it. And I'm like, yeah, but did you get experience from it? No, it was boring, it was weird, I didn't get it. They don't appreciate art. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But anyway, even though you haven't experienced film a lot, is what I say kind of intrigued you along the way?
100%. And I actually want to watch that movie now. For me, uniqueness is very important. And I think, as you said, there is sometimes that cinematography is more about art than about just making an easy film for the broad public. And we need to appreciate that.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, because I just find it odd that, like I said, you had films like Kubrick and David Lynch and Christopher Nolan, which have made really bizarre films. I mean, God, David Lynch, I mean, God, most of his films you don't understand, but people love his films. Yeah. They absolutely love them because he passed away not long ago, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, I loved Blue Velvet. I love The Elephant Man." And I go, "Yeah, you know, me too," because they are very bizarre films, but people love them. And then this new film comes along, which is in a way a bit like a David Lynch film made in the modern day, and people are like, hate it, didn't get it. But did you get the David Lynch movie when you watched it? Yeah. No. So this is what I'm saying. People have got to stop being so judgmental straight. I mean, all right, first viewing, you're probably not going to get, but if you watched it again and had a second opinion, maybe it could work. Because I've had that many times. I mean, God, Kubrick films, I did. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I love Kubrick a lot. But when I did watch Space Odyssey and I first watched Eyes Wide Shut, I actually hated those films. I thought that was rubbish. What the hell was that? Yeah. But then, weirdly enough, they came on the television again months later, but I wanted to watch them again. It was weird. Like I said, I didn't like that film, but I want to watch it again. Yeah. And I watched it again, and then again I watched it again, and then next thing you know, I'm like, this movie's amazing. And it just started to really intrigue me. So that's what I'm saying. But then Kubrick did have that. He really seemed to draw you in with his films. I mean, he has this, and that's the thing. When you watch his films, he's got this stop safe control button. Like you can't turn off a Kubrick film, even if it's boring or it's long. You can't turn it off. It's weird. Like you just want to watch it, even if you're struggling. Yeah. You don't want to turn it off. And that's what happened with me when I was watching Eyes Wide Shut. Like I didn't get it, but I didn't want to turn it off. I was like, for some reason, I still want to see what happens at the end. Yeah. And then when the movie was ended, I was like, oh, that was terrible. But then it came on the television maybe 6 months later. And I'm like, yeah, I saw that film ages ago, but for some reason I want to watch it again. And I watched it again. And then I was like, okay, I like it a bit more. And then I put it on again, and now I love it. It's a film that you definitely have to watch at night, though. It's definitely a nighttime film. Because there are certain films that you do have to kind of watch in the nighttime and certain films that you do have to watch in the daytime. But Eyes Wide Shut is definitely a nighttime movie because it feels like a dream when you watch it. It's very eerie. Love it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that film has kind of been sort of notified now because Tom Cruise has come back now with the Mission Impossible films. And now people are talking about Top Gun, Eyes Wide Shut, what he's done, you know. So when they mention Eyes Wide Shut, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favourite Tom Cruise movie. I don't like Top Gun, but I like Eyes Wide Shut, you know. So it's really interesting. Yeah. But anyway, okay, guys, I think we need to kind of take a little break now from my talking. Right, the next track I'm playing, because I'm going to discuss it very soon, is from, of course, Lilo and Stitch, because I'm going to be talking about that next. So stay tuned, guys. Here's the one called Escape. That was Escape by Lilo and Stitch, the animated film, of course, because we're going to talk about that next. Anyway, you're listening to Manigan's Movie Music live on Love the Beat Radio. Me, Reece Manigan, my special guest today.
Hello, Alba.
There you go. Okay, right, I need to talk about another sort of debate about this because Disney have again released another live-action remake, which is, do you know what? I'm really starting to get sick of them now. They are really starting to do my head in. Anyway, but I really do want to talk about this. So their latest entry is, of course, Lilo and Stitch. And if you haven't heard of Lilo and Stitch, how have you not? It was the animated film that was released in 2002. It was one of my childhood films. I loved Lilo and Stitch when I was a kid. I even loved the TV series. And it's a great animated film. And to be honest, I haven't actually watched it in a little while. I do have to try and watch it again. But it was a great film. I loved it when I was a kid. About the little alien who crashes into Hawaii, meets a little girl. She pretends to be a dog, and then there's aliens going after him. And it's a really great film. It was directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois, who are the directors who did the How to Train Your Dragon movies. And of course, Chris Sanders directed the recent amazing film, The Wild Robot, which I absolutely loved last year. Fantastic animated film. If you haven't watched The Wild Robot yet, get your bums on Amazon Prime and rent it. It is actually, no, is it on Now TV? If it's on Now TV, watch it now. Seriously, great film. Actually, no, don't watch it now. Watch it after this radio show. Keep listening to my show. Don't turn off yet. Don't do that yet. Yeah, I don't want to lose my listeners yet. Keep listening. But Chris Sanders has made some really good animated films. Anyway, so Disney have come along and they've made a live action remake of this amazing film. And I've heard some mixed reviews about it already. Some people have said it's actually a really good live action remake, and others have said it's typical what Disney have done. They've ruined it and blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've said this before. I have no interest in seeing this film. I didn't want to go see Snow White. I didn't want to go see Lilo and Stitch. I'm done with these Disney live action remakes. I'm done. Because you know what? The more I've seen them, they have got worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, Pinocchio, I hated. What the hell was Pinocchio? And oh my God. I mean, I could list them all, but I have no interest anymore in seeing these live action Disney remakes because they just butcher the animated films. The animated films are brilliant. They stick better. There's more emotion, more clever stuff going on, and you stick by it. Now, I know sometimes the live action remakes do like to tweak a few things, and sometimes some of their fixing does work. I mean, there's a couple of bits that I do praise and say, oh yeah, they did that really well. And okay, that, but now it's just like they've gone, oh, we don't care. We're just here to make the money. We'll cast whoever. They don't care about butchering it. That's the problem. And, the Snow White controversy, that has really hit rock bottom. And now Lilo and Stitch has come out. They think, yeah, Lilo and Stitch will make the money. But even now I've looked at who's in it and what's going on. I just have no interest. I don't look and think, oh, do you know what? That fixes it. I don't even want to waste my money seeing a film I've already seen that's animated. Why would I want to go see the same movie? Because when they did The Lion King, I was so disappointed with because it's just shot for shot. I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks gorgeous because it looks real and it looks amazing. The voice work was good, but it was the same story. It was the same. So I just paid to go and see the same film that looks real. So why would I do that? And again, I'm not doing it. So I'm not going to go see Snow White. I'm not seeing Lilo and Stitch. And I will wait till Disney Plus maybe takes them, and maybe I'll check them out. If I'm really bored one day, there's nothing on the telly, and I'm like, do you know what? I've actually got nothing to watch. Yeah, I'll waste my time putting this on, and then I'll just take my headache. Yeah. We'll see. But I have no interest. And with Lilo and Stitch, I'm just not interested. But, maybe I'll check it out on Disney Plus, and then maybe I'll think, you know what? Okay, maybe it wasn't so bad. But why would I want to go to the cinema? And this is what annoys me again. This is what's happening with the film industry at the minute. So you've got films like Sinners, Mission Impossible 8. Is it 8 now? 9, 10, 100, whatever it is. You've got Hurry Up Tomorrow, which I've mentioned. You've got the new Final Destination movie, which, by the way, I saw, which I loved. But then people will still want to go and see a film they've already seen before. They're piling up to see Lilo and Stitch, but they're not going to see original films. And most people go, oh, there's nothing original out there anymore. Nothing's original. And then up comes all these other films. And I think, yeah, you should go see that. And then Lilo and Stitch comes along. They go, oh, yeah, let's go see Lilo and Stitch. But you've seen Lilo and Stitch. You've seen it. Go and see Sinners. Go and see... Yeah. Why would you want to go and see a film you've already seen? But does it matter? Oh, my God. And it's just what annoys me. These people don't know what they want to go see. But anyway, do you know what? It's fine. If you want to go see Lilo and Stitch, go and waste your money. Go and do what you want to do. I don't care. But honestly, I am not going to do that. I would rather go at home and watch a film I've already seen a million times before than go see Lilo and Stitch in the cinema because I've already seen it. So there you go. Anyway, that's just my point of view. I know my point of view probably sounds a bit controversial. I know people going, "Oh God, he's really Disney." But the thing is, that's just my opinion. I don't know how much more I can say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sugarcoat and go, "Yeah, go see Lilo and Stitch." It's not like you haven't seen it before because it's a new movie because it's already been out. What do you want me to say to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it just frustrates me. But anyway, I have no interest. So anyway, but there you go. Anyway, guys. Anyway, sorry, I haven't asked you yet. Like, I know you haven't seen probably too many, but surely you must have gone up with some Disney films.
Yeah, 100%.
And Lilo and Stitch, have you seen it?
I haven't watched the last movie that you are mentioning now, but I kind of agree with you. Like, once you have a gorgeous movie that you watch in your childhood and influence you so deeply, and you had such an amazing experience with it, there's no point of watching it again. And you don't even want those characters to become reality because they are part of your imaginative childhood. They just destroy it by making them real. That's what I feel. I watched Sinners that you were talking about.
Oh, you've seen Sinners?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
And
well done for finally seeing it. Yeah, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
And I am going to say, like, really, the public needs to give a chance to these, as you say, more experimental movies, more different movies, not the repetition of something that was great.
Exactly.
That perhaps is not anymore.
I know.
By repeating it after 10, 20 years.
Disney, yeah, exactly. Because Disney they are literally, like, I'm not going to lie, I think Disney hasn't really made a great film since maybe 2018. And I mean, God, Frozen 2 was so depressing. I hate that film. And like, I see some of these Disney that come out and I'm like, it's bad. But I tell you what, the one film I am excited to go and see that they're doing is Zootopia 2.
Okay.
Because I love Zootopia. That is my second favourite Disney film of all time, after Lion King, the animated one, and my third favourite is Fantasia. But Zootopia, I've been looking forward to a sequel for so long, and I saw the teaser trailer. Yeah, we'll talk about that later on, actually. I'm going to save that for later. But what I'm saying is, that is the one film I hope that doesn't disappoint me, because if I've been waiting 9 years for a sequel,
you're done with Disney.
I will say, I hate you forever, Disney.
Yeah.
Never, ever contact me again. Seriously, I will never go and support another film that you distribute ever again.
Yeah.
Seriously. Right, we got the ad breaks coming out soon, guys. So I'm going to play another track and then we're going to go straight to the ads. But after, I will be talking about some trailers that came out this week and some updated movie news. So don't go away. And of course, you'll be here with me, Alba, won't you?
100%.
So we got another hour of great chats and everything. Right, guys, it's 10 to 11. Here's a little bit of Star Wars for you. That was, of course, one of the beautiful main titles from one of the most amazing horror films ever made. That was the main title sequence to Pearl, which, by the way, is on Netflix if you haven't seen it. By the way, guys, you're listening to Manigan's Movie Music, the second part of the show with me, Reese Manigan, and my special guest. Oh, there she is.
Alba!
So, Alba, how are you enjoying the show?
I'm enjoying it very much. I'm learning loads about films.
Amazing. There you go. That's what people normally come for. Anyway, so now we're going to be talking about Zootopia 2. We need to talk about that because the trailer has finally been released, and it's one of my most anticipated films of the year, along with a few others. But Zootopia 2, as we were talking about Disney before, this is the only Disney film I'm really looking forward to seeing this year, because Zootopia is my second favorite Disney film of all time. Now, the reason I love it so much was because, number one, it's just such a brilliant film. Two, I love the characters, especially Nick and Judy. Like, their chemistry is just amazing. And I love as well that it's like an animated film version of the adult comedy buddy cop 48 Hours, because that starred Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy, two very different people, a con artist and a cop, that have to team up, and they don't like each other. And even though 48 Hours is more adult than Zootopia is kind of an animated film of that movie. But I love both films, but Zootopia is it's so precious to me. And also, I love the fact that it deals with prejudice, discrimination, racism in an animated way. And plus, because it's about animals, they can get away with it. But I tell you what, let me give you this well-known fact, which I'm very surprised they would have got away with if they kept it in the final film. There's a deleted scene where where Judy's talking to her parents on the phone. It's the bit where she's in the apartment and they think, oh, she's a ticket meter, she's safe and all that. But that scene was meant to be a bit longer because the granddad interrupts the phone call and says she hasn't encountered any foxes, has she? Because they're red and that's the sign of the devil. And I couldn't believe they actually was going to put that in the final film. Luckily, they deleted it. But I thought, I kind of wish they did keep that in the film because it kind of shows, the prejudice of the rabbits against the fox. But you also know what else that means in adult human form. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying like that, but it deals with that really well. And I kind of relate to it because Nick Wilde, I kind of related a little bit in the film because he's a predator. And do you remember there's that flashbacks? I don't know if you have seen the film, but he has a flashback and he meets all these prey animals to go and join like the scouts. But then they all gang up on him because he's a predator and he's a fox. And, oh, you're a fox, you're a predator. You don't, they pick on him. And I relate to that a lot because obviously me being autistic and I've been in groups and classes, they all used to pick on me because I was the different one. And that's why I relate to him. So there's a quote in the film where Nick Wilde says, if people just look at me as that sort of person, then that's the person I'm going to be to them. And that's what I say to people now. If people look at me as this idiot who, apparently is autistic and they basically call me, excuse what I'm going to say, but they call me a retard, which apparently some people do kind of say as, then do you know what? That's what I am to you. And then do you know what? I don't care because I'm my own person. That's who I am. So unfortunately, that's what, and that's why I relate to him. Mm-hmm. Not because he's a con artist, because I'm not a con artist and I'm not a fox. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I relate to that character a lot. So I remember when that scene come up, I was actually almost in tears watching that bit. And I was like, oh my God, that's like how I feel. So I really relate to that movie. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons I loved it so much. And I just think it really does tell the story a lot. So there you go, guys. So that's why I love that film so much. So Zootopia 2, we don't really know what the story is exactly about. All we know is it involves they're going undercover and it involves a reptile. So reptiles are going to be joining this film now instead of mammals. Because if you remember in the first Zootopia, there's no birds, there's no reptiles, there's no fish, it's all mammals. Now we're getting reptiles, so this can be very interesting. So this one involves a snake, which is going to be very interesting, and he's going to be voiced by the actor, I can't remember his full name, but he was the guy who was in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was an amazing movie, but he's going to be in that film playing the snake. What a great voice cast to choose to play a snake. I mean, could they have thought of a better choice? Absolutely not. So I'm really excited. And the teaser trailer doesn't give away much. I love that. You just got Nick and Judy running away from these cops, holding this snake, who obviously might have been framed, or is he on the run, even though he hasn't got any legs. He's on the slither, shall I say. But apparently they're after him. And but saying that, if we all remember in the trailer, there's definitely going to be a new villain in this movie, but they've kept this villain under wraps. So I'm really intrigued with this because, unfortunately, the only thing I didn't like about the first movie, this is the only thing that really I didn't like, was the villain in the first movie. Because if you've seen recent Disney films, there was always a villain twist. Who was the villain? I mean, the only movie that worked on that was Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph did that really well. When they revealed the villain in that, my jaw dropped. And I was like, oh my God, that was the best villain twist ever. But after that, they did it in Big Hero 6, and then they did it in Zootopia, they did it in Frozen. And oh my God, they just failed completely. And I was like, that doesn't work. I mean, it's so predictable. Like, I kind of knew the prince was the villain in Frozen. I kind of knew the sheep was the villain in Zootopia. Like, it was so predictable. And I was like, why do they keep doing all these villain twists? It doesn't work. And they even did it in Incredibles 2, and that didn't work. And again, it was always the villains that ruined it. Because if we all remember, Disney had some really great villains back in the day. Scar, Jafar, Ursula, Medusa. I mean, God, you could list a whole bunch of great Disney villains they had. I mean, Captain Hook is one of them as well. But now, since I'd say after Wreck-It Ralph, their villains have just gone downhill. And it's just these predictable twists. So my only hope for Zootopia... Right, so here's my hopes for Zootopia 2. Number one, they have a better villain. Number 2, if they do a villain twist, it has to be a really good one. Not predictable, not, oh, I bet it's him, like they did in the first one, because I knew already. I had hints, and I just knew. So better villain, please. Number 2, this is another one that I really hope they don't do. I really hope they don't put Nick and Judy together as a couple. Here's why. Because in the first film, they work well as 2 frenemies who, you know, a fox and a rabbit. They have to get along. And then they become partners as friends. And it works really well. And I love that they had that chemistry as just friends. Because what I don't like now in films nowadays, you get a man and a woman, they have to work together, they save each other's life, then it's, oh, I love you. Then they get married and then they have 20 kids. It's like a fairy tale ending. I don't want that. Please, please, Zootopia 2, do not put Nick and Judy together. Let them stay as friends. I mean, if they have a friendship problem in the film, then that's fine. I wouldn't mind that, like a little bit of a sticky situation. But please do not put them together. Please do not make them fall in love. I do not want that. Because if they do, I will be very disappointed. Plus, I'm not being funny. Who puts a rabbit and a fox together anyway? Like, what would their babies look like if they? You know, I'm just saying, like, you can't put a fox and a rabbit together. Like, what's going to come out? A for rabbit? A rox? Like, what do you call it? A rubox? Like, I don't know what you call it. Does it have long ears and a bushy tail? Does it hop and does it kill other rabbits? Do you know what I mean? Is it predator or prey? Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you can't put a fox and a rabbit together. It just looks weird. But so please, please, please do not put them together. I don't want any romance between these 2 characters. So if they do that, I will be very happy with this film. But also it has to have a really good story, really good characters. Like, I'm really intrigued with this snake. This snake, I think, is going to steal the show, 100%. But Nick and Judy have to still stay as police, cop partners / friends. And the villain, whoever this villain is in the trailer, please let it be a good one. Please, 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 please. So we'll see. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the new Zootopia. It comes out November 26th, guys. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Near my anniversary, actually. So I'm going to be taking my wife to go and see that film. So we already know what her gift's going to be this year. There you go. But yeah, so I'm really excited to go and see it. But yeah, so let's hope that they do not disappoint because, like I said, I hated Frozen 2. Moana 2, what the hell was that? Oh my God, Moana 2 was ridiculous. I hated it. They really butchered that one. I was so disappointed. Like, I left the cinema literally going out going, well, that was the biggest waste of time. Like, seriously, I wanted my money back. I really wanted my money back. I was so upset, honestly. But anyway, so come on, Zootopia 2, do not disappoint me. Fingers crossed. We hope Zootopia 2 does not become that Disney film that ruins another great film. Because honestly, I want to walk out the cinema smiling. I don't want to walk out the cinema going, my life is over. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
9 years I've been waiting for a Zootopia sequel. 9 years. That's a long time to wait.
That's a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this though. Pixar, with Inside Out 2, that didn't disappoint me. I was really happy with that. But then Pixar are different. Pixar are Pixar. Yes. I don't really say they're Disney. I say they're Pixar are their own thing. So Pixar, well done for Inside Out 2. But Zootopia 2, come on, guys. Come on.
We're waiting for it.
Yes. Do not disappoint me. Come on. You got to do this. Anyway, I think I've talked about it long enough. Anyway, it was only a 1 minute and a half trailer anyway. I've talked about it like it was this big thing at the moment. But anyway, yeah, so if you're looking forward to Zootopia 2, guys, please let me know if you're excited. Let me know what you guys saw the trailer as well. If there's any shout outs you guys want to talk about, because I really want to hear your thoughts on the new Zootopia trailer. And I want to know if you really were happy with it or if you're really disappointed with it, because I want to know what your thoughts are. Anyway, guys, let's play another track. And you know what? Since we talked about Inside Out, let's play the track. Yeah. So here's the Inside Out 2 it's Inside Out 2 theme. That was the theme of course, one of Pixar's greatest films. Inside Out. I'm twisting my words there. I'm so sorry. Inside Out 2 by Michael Garancio. You're listening to Manigan's Movie Music Live on Love the Beat Radio with me, Reese Manigan, and my special guest,
Alva.
There you go. Okay, right. I have just gone on some movie news, guys, and I've got some really exciting update here. Now, if you've been following me since the beginning of time, you'll know that I'm a massive fan of Alex Garland. Alex Garland, who directed Ex Machina, Annihilation, Civil War, Men, Devs, and of course Warfare just recently, which by the way was a really good movie. Well, guess what? Do you remember that time when he said he wasn't sure about coming back to direct? Well, he's coming back to direct because he's got a brand new movie coming out, not straight away, but he's working on it, called Elden Ring. So, and it's also going to be produced by none other than A24. That's right, A24 are going to distribute it, and we all love A24, guys, don't we? I mean, who doesn't? Great studio. Okay, guys, so let me just get you the forefront of this. So it says, "Arise now, ye tarnished, an Elden Ring movie is coming. Yes, after weeks of hushed whispers and rumours during the rounds, Deadline is reporting that Bandai Namco has confirmed that From Software's critically acclaimed epic fantasy video game is getting the live-action film treatment in its collaboration with A24. And what's more, Alex Garland, yeah, that's right, you heard his name, Alex Garland, from 28 Years Later, Annihilation and Warfare, is heading into lands between as writer and director on the ambitious project. So it says, created by Soul-like game guru Hidetaka Miyazaki, from a story penned by Game of Thrones godhead George R. R. Martin. So there you go, Game of Thrones fan there. Elden Ring is a sprawling dark fantasy with a deep bench of characters and even deeper lore. As its simplest level, the game sees the player assume the role of a tarnished, a being once banished from, now returned to the mythic realm of the lands between, embarking on a quest to repair the broken Elden Ring, a collection of runes that determine and uphold the laws of reality, and become the Elden Lord. It's heady stuff, as it says here, and far less obliviously adaptable of the Fallout and The Last of Us this world. However, while on the one hand, Elden Ring being a game which vast swatches of its story and exposition is discovered organically through exploitation and of the land between's opening world doesn't immediately scream cinema, on the other, it's not hard to see how the richness and expansiveness of said world appeals to a filmmaker like Garland and a studio like A24. Both director and writer of the studio are renowned for creating immersive cinematic experiences, and neither fear heading into the unknown. Garland's Annihilation, dubbed furiously into the hard science fiction kind of monstrous creations Miyazaki is renowned for, while A24 backed David Lowery's medieval fantasy The Green Knight, a movie that tonally and stylistically could provide a very solid framework for mounting an Elden Ring adaptation. Also, it's worth noting that Garland has already had skin in the game having co-written Ninja Theory's acclaimed post-apocalyptic adventure offering Enslaved Odyssey to the West. So before Garland heads into the realm of outer gods, golden orders, omens, tarnished, and maidenless vessels of the lands between, however, fans can look forward to seeing the next prolific handwork in Danny Boyle's re-team of 28 Years Later, which comes out next month in cinemas 20th of June. We'll keep you up to date on the Elden Ring movie, though, as more new filters through, and while we wait to be blessed by the entries light on the big screen, we probably have to just about enough time to rework our way through original 6 endings. 4 fathers, one and all, bear witness. So there you go, guys. Alex Garland is returning for a brand new film. I could no longer get more excited than I can, because this was the director that unfortunately had a bit of rumours that he was retiring, that he was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to direct for the foreseeable future. And then the Daily Mail tweaked that and said he's no longer filmmaking, he's no longer doing it. He immediately denied those rumours. He's not retiring. And this is what he was saying, and this is again what we were talking about with the filmmaking stuff. Directing is not the only thing about like the film work. There's screenwriters, there's cinematographers, there's editors, there's director of photography. Do you know what I mean? There's composers, sound. So he was saying, because he's a screenwriter more than a director, and he said that's his job. He's a screenwriter, and just because he said he wasn't directing, it doesn't mean he wasn't doing filmmaking.
Yeah.
He's got 28 Years Later coming out this next month, which I just mentioned, working with Danny Boyle again. And also, he just recently worked on a project called Warfare, which he also, by the way, wrote and directed, which he done a really good job with a man called Rasa Sofar. And he's now admitting that he's coming back to direct another film. But he didn't say that he was going to stop directing. He just said, I'm not going to be directing for the foreseeable future because he's writing other stuff. And that's what he said. He's just doing his job. And that's what makes me laugh again with the whole twisting words thing. Just because he said he wasn't directing anymore doesn't mean he stopped filmmaking altogether. Because when he said I'm retiring, I was like, he's not retiring. How is this guy going to retire? He's done loads of great stuff. So it's just, again, ridiculous how they twist everything and say, oh yeah, he's not going to direct for the foreseeable future. Well, they can eat their own words because he's come back to direct another film. So there you go. Anyway, so Alex Garland, I mean, again, another good director that I would recommend to you. Oh my God, the movies he has made. Ex Machina is a gorgeous film, blew me away. Was my favourite movie of 2015. He's also done a film called, which you can catch on Netflix, called Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman, which is a very weird and very scary film. I mean, there's one scene I'm going to say that scared me, which involves a bear. But that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because when you see it, oh my God, it's going to make you shiver.
Okay.
But that is the one scene that terrified me. But all I'm going to say is it involves a bear. Then he done something else called Debs, which is a series on Disney Plus, which is a very good scientific series, very good series. And then he directed a horror film called Men, which was very controversial. And then he directed a film called Civil War, very good movie, starring Kirsten Dunst. And then he directed a film this year called Warfare. So he's done a really bunch of amazing projects. And honestly, if there was a director I could recommend as well, it would be him. I mean, and what I love about him as well is I follow his rule here that says most people say you can't make a story about anything. I disagree. I feel like you can make a story about anything.
I was going to say he's pretty versatile, isn't he?
He is. He doesn't really care about what people's thoughts are. He says, look, if I've got this film I want to make, he will go off and make it.
Yeah.
He says at the end of the day, people are in their own rights to choose a film, what they want to see and what they don't want to see. He says, but if they watch one of my projects and they don't like it or they have something, then that's on them because they chose to watch it. I'm not forcing people to watch the project. I'm just making it, putting it out there, and it's up to people if they want to come and see it.
Yeah.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
And again, it's like when I was telling you earlier about the whole people getting offended thing, it's like when Family Guy got released, Seth MacFarlane, who's the genius in comedy as well, he was saying years ago, because when he got controversy over Family Guy, he said, well, there's remote controls exist today. They can always turn over the channel. Do you know what I mean? It's true.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't like it, turn it off.
That's it.
You know, and that's what I agree with. So with Alex Garland, when he said about making his own story wherever you want, why do you think I'm making The Bucket?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we talked about that as well. Yeah. And there you go.
It's your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not setting out for people to like, look, I make films for myself more than for the audience. If I've got an idea, I'll go off and make it. If people want to watch my films, then do you know what? Go ahead. Go on my YouTube. Watch it. But if you don't like it or there's something in it you don't like, don't complain to me because you didn't like it, because I'm sure you've seen far worse and I'm sure you've seen way terrible worse things than what I've made. So if you don't like it, just don't watch it again. Unsubscribe my channel and go and watch Peppa Pig. For all I care. I honestly couldn't care less. But anyway, that's why I follow Alex Garland's rule. It's a great rule because you know what? The Bucket, I've literally gone full out with it, so it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Okay, right. Let's play another track, guys. We've just got to try and squeeze in a couple more tracks before we do our finale. So here's a nice little ditty. You guys will love this one. And if you've grown up with Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry, you'll definitely know this one. Here's The Barber of Seville. Okay, everyone, that was our finale soundtrack there. That was The Prince of Egypt by Hans Zimmer. Great animated film there. Absolutely love that classic movie. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
So you've seen that one?
Yes.
Yes, really beautiful animated.
Yeah.
Do you know that film, little quick fact there, do you know that was originally pitched at Disney when Jeffrey Katzenberg pitched it? But they didn't want to touch it because it was a Bible film and Disney was scared to touch it. But Jeffrey Katzenberg was like, well, when he started doing DreamWorks, he was like, let's make Prince of Egypt. And it became one of the biggest classic films of the 90s. I still find it a bit underrated, though. Like, I still don't think people talk about it enough now.
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's a bit forgotten.
It kind of is, yeah. But great animated film, though. Because don't forget, DreamWorks did used to do 2D animation before they started doing Shrek and all that lot. Yeah. But that's because they thought 2D animation was out the door, so they started doing computer animation. But to be honest, I think they should bring back 2D animation because I've luckily seen a couple of 2D animated films in cinemas, and they look more beautiful than computer. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Again, throwing out my opinions. I don't know. Anyway, but yes, guys, so we've only literally got less than 4 minutes now until the show ends. It's been a really good show.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun show.
Yeah.
Albert, I've really enjoyed having you on today. Even though you're not a huge film person, it was nice that you've come on and you were promoting what you were doing. And that's what I'm glad that you were talking about. Plus, you were saying about what you were doing, about, you know, being an inspiration icon, about making a difference. That's what we need more on this show. So you've actually done something that this is what the show is all about. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I learned loads about films now.
Yes.
And it's really wonderful. You're a very inspiring person. You need to keep going on your filmmaking because you're great. And thank you for sharing your story with me as well.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think I've had quite a few stories. We're just sharing about off there about the whole film stuff that's been going on. But yeah, you know, because like I said, if there was a time where I could say, oh yeah, this happened and I encountered this, you know, because honestly, if I was allowed to talk about the stories I was allowed to talk about, then maybe that would be a very different type of radio show, but who knows? But maybe that'd also be for a later show, because unfortunately the stories I can't talk about are very appropriate for the morning. But, you know, as I said, there's crazy filmmakers out there, crazy people that I've encountered, so there you go.
Yeah.
As it happens, you know, but that's the industry, unfortunately. You know, we all encounter some people that we're not supposed to encounter, but then it's a good thing because you know to avoid that person.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We all learn from it.
We all learn, exactly. But oh boy, what a bunch of learning stuff I've learned for the past 20 years, I tell you. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes now. So guys, whoever's tuned in this morning, thank you so much. I hope today's show was good for you as well. Also, if you do plan to watch Hurry Up tomorrow, I'd like to know by next week, because again, I really want to know what people's thoughts are about that movie, because like I said, it's been a very Marmite reaction, and I want to kind of see what the situation is going to be. So fingers crossed that I do get some responses next week. Right, so next week, I don't know if I've got a guest next week. Nothing's been confirmed, so I'll have to update you about that, guys. But if I do get a guest next week, then brilliant. If not, then it'll just be little old me talking to you guys about God knows what. You know, maybe another movie review or something. Yeah, speaking of movie reviews, I think next week I'll try and review maybe Final Destination 6, because I'm going to say this out now. There hasn't been a lot of movies out this month. Out of all the months so far, there hasn't been a lot of movies that have come out this month. It's been quite disappointing. There's only been Ugly Stepsister, Final Destination 6, Hurry Up Tomorrow. Oh, sorry. There is a film coming out. It's Prom Night Fear Street. Okay, I'm going to review that one next week. That's my new film next week that I'll be reviewing, which is out on Netflix right now, the new sequel, Fear Street, which I am so excited about. And I think as well this Monday, very quickly, just want to throw it out there, if you're a fan of Shaun the Sheep, the brand new series of Shaun the Sheep comes out on the BBC iPlayer this Monday, which I'm very happy about because I'm a huge Shaun the Sheep fan. Yes, I know some of it's for kids, but it's Shaun the Sheep, it's Aardman. There's going to be a few adult jokes in it. I mean, who doesn't love Shaun the Sheep? I mean, come on. It's a great series. Okay, guys, time's up for me now. But thank you all so much who tuned in. Please tune in next week. Movie review will be Fear Street, Prom Night Fear Street. And hopefully I'll have a guest next week. If not, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, from me, that is a wrap. And I'll see you guys next week.